Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a meeting that is taking place in the Kochi region of India in the state of Kerala, that is Antarctic Parliament meeting. Now, what is the agenda of this Antarctic Parliament meeting? What is Antarctic Parliament and what kind of treaty under which this entire we can say event falls under? That is what we are going to discuss in this particular video. So, to give you the context of this particular issue, as of now, India is hosting the 46th session of Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting, that is also referred as ATCM. Between May 20 to 30, the meeting will take place in the Kochi, which is a city in the state of Kerala. Now, this Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting or ATCM is also referred by the other name of Antarctic Parliament. Now, the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, which is an organization situated in the state of Goa, through the Ministry of Earth Sciences of Government of India, is the major we can say nodal organization that has basically organized this particular meeting, the 46th session of this meeting. The total number of countries and their delegates that are expected to attend this meeting stand at 56, which is also the number of members of countries which are member of Antarctica Treaty. Before this year, India last time hosted ATCM in the New Delhi in the year 2007. So, let us try to understand about the importance, or first of all, what is Antarctic Treaty. Now, Antarctic Treaty is basically a treaty that was signed initially between 12 countries, which are Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Chile, France, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, the USSR that time, which later on divided, or basically we can say fragmented into several other countries, UK and United States of America. The first time this treaty was signed was the 1st December 1959, and these countries were the original signatory of the Antarctic Treaty. After 2 years, the treaty came into existence, that is in 1961, and since that time, as of now, total 56 countries, including India itself, had signed this agreement. Now, if you talk about the Antarctic Treaty itself, total 56 signatories are there, as we have discussed. However, not all these signatories have voting right. Only 29 member countries have voting rights. The main reason behind the signing of such agreement was basically to demilitarize the seventh continent of the world, that is Antarctica, and basically use and utilize Antarctican landmass mainly for the peaceful research activities. Also, the other reason behind the treaty signing was to set aside any disputes regarding territorial sovereignty that many countries has between themselves, thereby ensuring international cooperation as far as the research and the use of Antarctican landmass is concerned. If you look at more detailed view of this Antarctic Treaty, so as we can see, the flags of the member countries are mentioned here. Now, the important points of Antarctic Treaty, we try to understand what this treaty basically says. So, first of all, it basically prohibits any kind of military activities or even weapon testing on the Antarctican landmass. Second, it also gives to all countries of the world complete freedom on the scientific research if they want to carry out. Third, any kind of nuclear explosion and nuclear waste disposal are totally banned on the Antarctican landmass. Parties, that means the member countries, shall ensure no illegal activities are carried out. All stations and equipment run by any countries shall be open to inspection if there is any doubt, and issues to be settled by the International Court of Justice if any kind of argument comes between two countries or any kind of dispute arises between two countries regarding the settling of the research station or regarding the use of the Antarctican landmass. The matter will refer to the ICJ, that is International Court of Justice in The Hague of the Netherlands. Also, the treaty promotes free exchange of the scientific plans among treaty nations so that collaborative effort or collaborative spirit can be built up along the Antarctican landmass. National laws, if suppose India has a research station on Antarctica, So the national laws of India will apply only to the citizens of India who are currently present, or research scientists we can say, who are currently based in Antarctica. The areas in Antarctica will not be subject to the national laws of India, or for that matter any other country in the same manner. The treaty may be modified by unanimous vote if there are changes required as per the changing scenario. Any territorial claims which any country might have on Antarctica will be on hold. That means it will no longer be discussed. Parties shall meet periodically to discuss measures, and it is in this context the current 46th session of ATCM or Antarctic Parliament meeting is taking place. And the last, the treaty must be legally ratified by any nation wishing to join. Legally ratified means the government can sign the treaty, but the ratification happens only if the parliament of that country finally approves the treaty. So ratification is the procedure after which finally the countries can become member of Antarctic Treaty. So let us take a look at the program or India's research program in Antarctica. Now it was the year 1981 when the first Antarctic expedition was sent by India under the leadership of Syed Jahur Qasim, who was a well-known scientist. This was led by organization that is National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, situated in Goa, as we have discussed. The three major research stations are currently operated by India on Antarctica landmass. That is Dakshin Gangotri, which was the first one. Then we have Bharti, and then we have the Matri. Here in this research stations, most of scientists are generally we can say engaged in atmospheric, biological, earth, chemical and medical science related studies. Medical sciences also, because we know that on Antarctica the temperature is very or appreciably below 0 degrees Celsius for most part of the year. So to understand the development of cure, or to understand the response of any vaccine or any such kind of, we can say, treatments, Antarctica can offer a much more better insights or different insights as compared to the we can say tropical areas which we inhabit. Now let us take a look at the research stations that India has developed in Antarctica. So it was the year 1983 when the first research station was developed by India on Antarctica, and this research station, as you can see from this picture here, was referred as Dakshin Gangotri. Gangotri is the name of glacier from where one of the major rivers of India, Ganga rivers, originate, and Dakshin refers to the south. So basically South Gangotri. Then further 6 years later, somewhere in 1989, after Dakshin Gangotri station stopped working in 1988, another station by the name of Matri was opened. This was the second Antarctica research station, somewhere located in Sharmakar Oasis, which is free from, basically we can say, any kind of ice, and it is basically a 3 km wide ice free plateau, and that is why you can see from here the picture also, it is depicting clearly that around these areas it is a kind of ice free zone. And as of now the Matri station is still operational, and it is located somewhere about 5 km from Russia's Novolarskaya station, as well as 90 km from where Dakshin Gangotri station was located. Matri, as per the as per the capacity of Matri is concerned, it can accommodate 65 persons in the summer time and roughly 25 persons in the winter time. So from that perspective, it is also a very large research station, we can say. Now later on, it was year 2012 when India set up its third Antarctic research station by the name of Bharati, and it is located around 3000 km east of Matri on Pridge Bay coast. That means if you take a look here, this is the map of Antarctica, and Bharati station is situated somewhere on, we can say, easternmost region of Antarctica, between what we can call as the 80 degrees south to 70 degrees south of latitude, or around 70 degrees south of latitude more precisely, we can say. Now it is in the Bharati station where oceanographic and geological studies are done on majority, or we can say on primary basis. However, every now and then the Indian Space Agency, that is Indian Space Research Organization or ISRO, it utilizes it for the receiving of data from the Indian Remote Sensing or IRS satellites. If you talk about the capacity, obviously it has a much bigger capacity as compared to the Matri station, and thus in the summer time it can accommodate or support 72 individuals, while in the winter it can support about 47 individuals. So in one way we can say the winter capacity of the Bharti station is almost twice to that of the second station, that is Matri. Then further to enhance or in this we can say solidify its presence on the Antarctic landmass, it was year 2022 when India joined the Antarctic Act, reaffirming its commitment to the Antarctic Treaty. And basically this was the act that drafts the laws that is in consonance with the legal guidelines given under the Antarctic Treaty. Now also if we talk about the future plans of India, India is expected to set up and begin operation of its fourth research station in Antarctica, which it is going to call as Matri 2. And this Matri 2 research station is located very closely to the old Matri 1 station, and it will be located just a few kilometers from the aging Matri station. Basically, aging is a term that we are using because once Matri 2 becomes operational, after a few years Matri 1 will stop functioning. Thus, overall we will have 3 major research stations by the end of this decade working in Antarctica. Now, let us come to the current Antarctic Parliament meeting that is taking place in the Kochi. So, what are the objective of these meetings that take place? First of all, let us try to understand this. So, in briefly we can summarize that objective of every ATCM, no matter wherever it takes, is to facilitate a global dialogue on law, logistics, governance, science, tourism and other aspects of the southern continent, that is Antarctica. So, every matter we can say under the sun related to Antarctica is open to discussion on this in this ATCM meeting that is held. Now, if you talk about the current ATCM meeting, what are the agenda on which discussion is expected? So, first of all, as far as India is concerned, it is expected that India will try to put its point where we want to promote the idea of peaceful governance in Antarctica, which is also in consonance with the principles of Antarctica Treaty. Second, it also will try to put its point that any kind of geopolitical tension that we are seeing all across the world today, whether it is between Russia and Ukraine and thus overall Russia and Western world, or Russia, US and Europe, whether it is in tensions in the Middle Eastern region between Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Israel, or whether it is tension in the East Asia between China or Taiwan, or whether even it is Pakistan, India or China, India is trying to underline that any kind of geopolitical tension between any countries in the world should not interfere with the protection of the continent and the resources. The continent obviously here refers to Antarctica, and the resources of Antarctica, whether it is natural resources, whether it is marine resources, whether it is the resources related to biodiversity. Third, it will also try to introduce, as per the experts, a new working group which largely will consist of members from the European countries who are having similar thought as like India, and this working group will be focusing on regulating tourism on the Antarctic continent. If we talk about the tourism in Antarctica today, it is largely organized by the private agencies, private companies, cruises. However, the impact of these tourism activities on Antarctica is not fully understood and not fully studied. So, obviously, it can have adverse consequences. So, to make sure that such adverse consequences do not interfere with the research on Antarctica, or overall we can say the resources of Antarctica, such kind of working group is required here. And also, if we talk about, this is not the first time India has openly expressed its opinion on the tourism of about the tourism on Antarctica. It was in year 2016 when India expressed the concern regarding tourism related activities and its adverse consequences. So, this working group that India is trying to pitch forward is nothing but as per its old policy. Apart from that, also we talk about India will officially table its plan, as you have discussed, to construct a new research station, that is Matri 2. And why it is essential? Because any new research station that a member country wants to set up on Antarctica need and require ATCM's approval, and that is why India will do so. Apart from that, discussions are also expected to focus around sustainable management of Antarctica and its resources, biodiversity prospecting, that means to understand the biodiversity of Antarctica, to understand what are the flora and fauna that are found in Antarctica and how these can act as a resource for the humanity. Third, collaboration, capacity building and cooperation, or as we call as 3 C's, are also on high agenda of this particular meeting. And last but not least, obviously entire world today is facing the onslaught of climate change, and Antarctica is something that is not an exception. So the climate change impacts how it is impacting the Antarctican landmass, how it is impacting the ice and the water around the Antarctica, because it can have huge consequences on the weather and climate all across the world. This is something that need to be discussed and this need to be addressed. So that is going to be the major, what you can say, themes of discussion around the 46th ATCM or Antarctic Parliament meeting. That is all for this particular video. Thank you very much.